What's going on, Buffs Nation? Hope you're all having a wonderful Memorial Day. I know I am, and I wanted to go ahead and get this video out. There's been a few people that have been saying, David, we need you to get on here and give us your predictions for the depth chart, for the starting lineups on offense, defense, and I guess I could cover special teams too. So I thought I would start out with, I think, one of the position groups that's going to have some of the most competition this year, and that's the offensive line. But before I get started, I'd appreciate it if you would join us in our journey to 2,000 subscribers. We're almost there, so please hit that like. Please consider subscribing if you have not yet, and let's get started. First off, let's start at right tackle. This is the position that I feel is probably most shored up. If I had to bet money on one player getting this starting position out of anybody, my money would be on Savion Washington on this offensive line, starting at right tackle. And he was the best offensive lineman at Kent State. Followed along with Sean Lewis and Bill O'Boyle here. He knows the system. I think he's a shoe-in for right tackle. I mean, you can't ignore his size. 6'8", 320 pounds, still has 3 years of eligibility left. I think he's going to be a cornerstone on this offensive line for the years to come. Now, let's go to the flip side. Let's go to left tackle. I think the man to beat right now is Tank. Gerad Christian-Lichtenhan. He became a starter here last season, a few games in. I believe his first game starting was against Cal. And again, you cannot ignore his size. 6'10", going to be playing at that 320, 325 pound weight. I mean, you cannot ignore the bookends that Colorado has the potential to have on both sides of their line. I would say that he is the man to beat, a returning starter for CU at the left tackle position. Now let's go ahead and jump to center. This is the other returnee that I would expect to start right now, and that is true sophomore Van Wells. He comes in here with good size as well. Played last year at 6'2", 290 pounds. I bet that he's put on some more muscle, strength, weight. Maybe he's playing around that 300. That's completely speculative on my behalf. He's been here. I think he has an edge up and a leg up on some of the other interior lineman transfers coming in because, again, he's had a whole system or a whole semester to get acclimated to this system, and he has a year of starting as a true freshman under his belt. But the positions that I think is going to be the most intense when it comes to competition is the guard positions. And just like the three people that I mentioned, these two guards were the starting guards for the spring game, and I would say that they have a leg up on the competition going into the summer and fall camp. And that is at left guard, Tyler Brown, and at right guard, Jack Wilty. Right, and again, let's talk about the size. 6'3", 320 pounds. Coming over from Jackson State, where he was an HBCU All-American, third team FCS All-American. And you can tell in the well-off videos and all of that he is one of the big leaders in the locker room. He's been really one of the tone setters in the weight room as well. And I would expect him to be that starter going into TCU. And then with Jack Wilty, again, big size, 6'4", 310 pounds. He was a JUCO first team All-American. And if you look at his tape, I mean, mainly he was playing tackle at Iowa Community College, but you see he has a lot of that physical skill set needed at the guard position for Sean Lewis's offense, for that offensive line run by Bill O'Boyle, where there's a lot of pulling with that interior line. And he's a guy that can get off the snap real quick. He can get downhill real quick. And, I mean, it makes sense why we saw him at right guard. Now, again, I'm not trying to play it safe, but just trying to look at this from a logical perspective. All five of these guys have had a semester up on the competition coming in. Now, that's not to say that there isn't going to be stiff competition for these gentlemen to hold their starting position. Some other guys that I wanted to mention that I think could compete for multiple spots on the offensive line. Let's start with Isaiah Jatta coming over here from Snow College. I mean, he's another guy that can really get downfield. He's physical. He like you can tell on that whole tape, he's got that dog mentality. We can also talk about Reggie Young. Again, I believe he was an All-American at the JUCO level at Iowa City Community College as well. And he was at Liberty last year, but a lot of people don't realize this. He didn't play a lot at Liberty because he was fighting an illness. He lost about 30 pounds and lost a starting role. And he could come in here and compete for that starting job either at one of the guard positions or at tackle. He's coming in here with 1 year of eligibility left. Again, he's got great size as well. Coming in here at 6'4", I bet he's probably back to that 300 pounds or so at least that he's been at. He's a grown man, and I would not be surprised at all to see him snag one of these starting spots. And speaking of some other guys that are going to provide very stiff competition, let's talk about Jack Bailey. He's coming over here, already was starting at guard for Kent State, so he's familiar with this whole system, the responsibilities, what's going to be asked of him. And Savion Washington is the only other lineman that has that luxury of coming over here that's already been in this system, that knows the responsibilities. I wouldn't be surprised there. Let's talk about Kareem Harden, another JUCO All-American, total dog, has experience at offensive tackle, mainly at the JUCO level, but I think he could compete for one of those guard positions as well. Again, he's very physical. He has great physical attributes, has some speed, some burst to him. Now, Landon BB is also one of those guys that can play all over the offensive line. 3-time Missouri Valley Conference All-American, coming in here with 1 year of eligibility left as a graduate transfer. Again, some of these grad transfers coming in here are going to be hungry to get this best opportunity of their career. Landon BB has the opportunity to really get one of these spots. Again, I feel like pretty much 4 out of 5 of these spots are still up for grabs. And heck, Savion Washington is still going to have to earn his spot just like everybody else. And we also got some young guys here. Hank Solinskis is a guy I think that profiles as a center, interior offensive lineman. He's coming in here as a freshman. We also have David Connor, who is going into his second year, I believe, sophomore year, transferring over from Florida. He's a big guy that can play different spots on the offensive line as well. So this one is kind of hard for me to project because there's so much versatility, and I don't really have an idea yet of where Bill Boyle and Sean Lewis are going to decide to mainly play some of these gentlemen. Now, if I had to give my best educated guess, since all 5 of those guys in the spring game are back, I would say that they're entering the summer and fall camp as those guys with the starting jobs to lose, and it's going to be up to guys like Reggie Young, Isaiah Jatta, Jack Bailey, Kareem Harden, David Connor, Landon BB to go after their spots and take it as their own. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, what your thoughts are. Do you have any bold takes with this offensive line? I think if I had to pick one offensive lineman that would come out of here, a starter that wasn't here in the summer, I think I would probably have to go with Reggie Young. So let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. Again, I hope you guys have a wonderful Memorial Day. Thank you, everybody who has served. And as always, Sko Buffs.